Okay, it's recording now. Please, at the beginning of every class, when you see that I'm not recording yet, just remind me. Even if you don't see, just remind me, have I started recording? So it is this recording I will post to the eLearn platform for you to rewatch if at all. Okay, thank you. So I'm going to resume sharing. Can you see? Please tell me again in the chat if you can see my screen. Can you see my screen? All right, thank you. You can see. Thanks. So the course is History and Philosophy of Science, GST 105, just as we know. And my name is Helen Olojede, Dr. Helen Olojede, Titilola Olojede. That's my name. I'll be your facilitator for the next 8 weeks. All right. So we're going to be having this class at this hour, God willing. And just as I said to you in the email, Moodle message, and eLearn platform via which I communicated with you, you have read Unit 1 and 2 of Module 1. So that's what we're going to discuss in this class. So you will allow me brief time to speak, then I will open the floor and you'll be able to contribute and ask questions and all. You will agree with me that not muting everybody makes this class very chaotic. So it's important we get that. Somebody is annotating on the screen. Don't write anything. Don't write anything on the screen. Just listen and watch. Also, over time, I've observed that students tend to be looking. Somebody saying he can't hear. Can you hear? Can people hear? Can some people hear me as I speak? Tell me in the chat box, I can hear, then we'll go on. It's the person's device. I can hear, okay, people are hearing. So if you cannot hear, it's from your end, okay? Maybe something is wrong with your device. Thank you all for telling me. So you would agree with me that not muting everybody makes the class really chaotic. So that's why there will be a time for me to speak, and there will be a time where you're going to raise your electronic hands and I'm going to unmute you and you will speak one after the other. That's for us to be able to, communicate and understand each other. So what you see on the screen, you can see who deserves your seats. It's an icebreaker. You could see a man, that's you, seated, maybe in a bus, maybe BRT in Lagos or Ajimobi in Ibadan or any of these buses. And so you have the A woman carrying a baby and she also has a backpack. You have the B woman who has a walking stick, okay? You have the third guy, C, who is using crutches because he has broken his leg. And you have the D person, who is an elderly man. So this is you. This is you, the man seated or the woman seated. Whom would you give your seat to? If you raise your electronic hands, I will call you. You could also just give me a reason why you would give this particular person, whether why you will give A and not give B, why you will give B and not C, why you will give D and not C. Okay. Jacob, can you unmute yourself? Jacob, you have the floor, unmute yourself. I'll call just 3 people. Okay. 2 women and 1 man. Okay. Just go straight to the point. Will you give A, B, or C, and why?
I will give B.
Okay.
Why? Simply because she's an old woman. The reason
Okay.
why I refuse to give A because she's a young lady and she has a child. She can help herself either by sitting on the floor or by looking for all means to help herself. And the reason why I could not help the man beside the woman is because she's also a man, despite that she has injury or he has a broken leg. And the reason why I cannot give the old man because she stands very well. So the only one that deserves my seat, I think, is B, the old woman, because she's as lame. I don't know if she can even see. So I choose B because she's the old. Even if she's not the oldest, I choose B. So this is my
Thank you.
present.
Thank you, Jacob. Thank you. Please mute yourself back. Okay, I mute you. I'm calling Abigail. Abigail Noye, you have the floor. Abigail, can you unmute and speak?
Yes, ma. Good afternoon, ma.
Good afternoon.
I'll give the seat to the broken guy with clutches because his leg is paining him and he can't stand properly.
Thank you, Abigail. Thank you. So I will call a man next. Emmanuel Ibimina. Unmute yourself. Emmanuel.
Okay. Hi. Good afternoon, ma.
Good afternoon. Good to see you.
Yeah, happy to see you too. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. I think I will give the woman that deserves my stage should be A because she has a baby and she's very much uncomfortable. Children are the gift to us from God. So I think she deserves my seat. The old woman, on the other hand, is having a walking stick and I know she can help us a little bit, though she's old. I think my seat goes to Lady A.
Okay, thank you, Emmanuel. Thank you. So the very last but not the least person, I will call Taiwo Aminat. Unmute yourself. Aminat Taiwo. Somebody is annotating on this screen. You are drawing line on the screen. Please stop. Aminat Taiwo, are you there? Is she there? If I've called you, lower your hands. The way you raised it up, you can lower it. Okay, Aminat Taiwo is not here. I'll call somebody else. Okay. Aminat Taiwo, can you unmute yourself? So I'll call another lady so that it will make 2 men, 2 women. Okay. I will call Rachel. Rachel Funke Orumakinde. Are you there? Unmute yourself and speak. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon once again, Dr. Olojede.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
I'm glad to be in your class.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good to see you.
For me, who deserves my seat is the woman with the baby.
All right.
Because, yeah, she's carrying 2 lives. From what I'm saying, she's pregnant and she's also carrying her baby. And she's not having any support. But the old woman who is B, C, D, they still have some support system to help themselves. But the pregnant woman with the baby, she doesn't have any support. So I think she deserves my seat.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Rachel. Mute. So I will just check what is in the chat box. And okay, I'm seeing A to help a sister, no voice. Unmute yourself. Why are they all calling me? Okay, A, I'm seeing the chat. Okay, many people are going for the lady with the baby. A, B. Okay, thank you. Emmanuel Ruth Okon, Queen Dada, I can see you. Megan Cynthia, C. Olushola Dunsin, Abubakar Sadiq, Emenoma, I can see you. Thank you. So the idea behind what we just did is to communicate to you that you are free to talk in this class when we have the opportunity to talk, okay? You are free to air your opinion, to ask questions, and to relate with one another, okay? It's to get you talking. It's to get us familiarizing ourselves with one another. So it's called icebreaker. So there is no right or wrong answer. Nobody is right, nobody is wrong. It is based on what you feel, who you feel you would give your chair to in the circumstance. So all your reasons you've given is valid, okay? Thank you. So we move on. So this is the nature of science. That's the title of the first module of your course material, which you have read as I asked you to. So every week, I'll be giving you units of your module to read so that when we're discussing in class, it will not be strange to you and you'll be able to ask good questions. I don't know if I mentioned this. Students tend to be looking at their course material in the course of facilitation. That is doing the right thing at the wrong time. During facilitation, you're supposed to listen and look at the slides, okay? And I also want to say this, that you should try, if you have friends who is not here and who has not been going for facilitation, encourage them to go for facilitation. You know what it does? It helps you to understand your course material better. And facilitation brings to class cogent issues, the core of the course itself. And because it is audiovisual, you tend to retain more in your memory, okay? So try, during facilitation, pay attention, take notes, but it is not now you should be reading your course material, okay? So what is science? Some of us, maybe we were science students in secondary school, so this shouldn't be too strange with us. Some of us, we make use of one form of science or the other in our day-to-day living, all right? So science, the word science is gotten from the Latin scientia, and it simply means knowledge. So literally put, science means knowledge. So science is the knowledge of the world of nature. The world around us is world of nature. Is the knowledge of the world of nature. There are three ways in which science is usually conceptualized. These are the three ways listed on the screen. And we're going to discuss each of them one by one, okay? So you have as a body of knowledge, a method for acquiring knowledge, or to study and understand the world, and science as an institution. Also, let me tell you, your facilitation also helps you to answer your TMAs better. Because if you remember, I had said that facilitation brings to class the core, the substance of the material itself. So many a times, your questions come from facilitation. So it's good for you to go for the other ones, and also pay attention. Without even making so much effort, you would be retaining things because you are both using your eyes to see on the screen and using your ears to hear. And facilitation is also not an end in itself. It's a means towards which you understand your course material. So after you've read it before class, we come to class, we explain it, you go back and read it, it becomes much easier than if you were not there at all, okay? So science as a body of knowledge. You see all the subjects we listed, chemistry, physics, biology, all those things some of us are familiar with, okay? Maybe as a science student, or maybe as somebody who knows these courses. Maybe they write it in WAEG, in JAMB and the likes. That's what is being referred to here as a body of knowledge. So science as a method for acquiring knowledge. That means this screen has, what's it called? Slides. And so the device I'm using does not support it. So when we say science as a method for acquiring knowledge, what we mean simply is that through science, we have experts, professionals who are scientific in nature, and through it, we get to know certain things. For example, doctors, for example, lawyers, and the like. So it's also a means through which we acquire knowledge. The third one is scientific method itself. Scientific method, which we're going to discuss in the course of this class more, is a set of processes. The process involved in scientific method, these are the processes listed on the screen. Each of them we're going to also discuss: observation, definition of problem, formulation of a hypothesis, experimentation, conclusion, and formulation of theory. So some of you are also familiar with this scientific method itself. Now, when we talk about science as an institution, okay, institution of learning. So science, in this sense, means that it has huge number of professionals that are engaged in the study and development of human knowledge, okay? And so these professionals, sometimes called scientists, can be found in various sectors. It could be in the educational sector, like a lecturer or a teacher, in the finance, industry, companies, hospitals, and the like. So when you talk about science as an institution, you're talking about it as science comprising of experts, comprising of professionals that are engaged in the study and development of knowledge. So another idea is branches of science. There are various branches of science. Aminat Taiwo, please put down your electronic hands. There are various branches of science. We have the formal science, as you have it on the screen, and you have the empirical science. When we talk about formal science, what do we mean? We mean certain subjects or broad classification of subjects. As you're saying, you can see mathematics. Under it, you have geometry, we have algebra, we have trigonometry, we have arithmetic. Then you have knowledge, you have theoretical physics and statistics. Those are breakdowns of science as, those are breakdowns of formal branches of science. Formal branches of science, or formal branch of science, also has a formal character and a deductive character. Formal sciences or formal science has a formal and deductive character. That is, its contents, arguments, and procedures, they obey certain rules. So when we talk about having a formal character or is deductive in nature, we're referring to it that the content it has, the argument it has, the procedures it has, it follows certain laid down rules, certain rules. And so the validity and authenticity of formal science is based on if it follows laid down rule. So science is valid or is authentic under the branch of science called formal science if it follows, if it agrees with certain rules that had been laid down. So that's that for formal science on this slide. We're moving to empirical sciences. When we talk about empirical sciences, we're talking about physics, chemistry, biology, and all these subjects listed on the screen or disciplines listed on the screen. So what empirical science does is to study objects and phenomena that can be observed through any of the senses and which can be tested with instruments such as telescope, microscope, ruler, tapes, and scales. So empirical science incorporates the idea of observation. Observation by what? Observation through the senses. And what are the senses? We have our eyes for seeing, our ears for hearing, our hand for touching, our taste for tasting, our nose, our tongue for tasting, and our nose for smelling. People are annotating on the screen. Please stop. Your duty is just to listen. This is not the time to fiddle with your screen. Okay, so that's that about empirical science. So beyond grouping science as formal and empirical, which is what we just saw, okay? Empirical science, formal science on this screen, empirical here. Science, we also group science in terms of natural science and social sciences. So branches of science, you have science which is formal, you have science which is empirical. Another way is you have natural science and you also have social science. So when we talk about natural science pertains to natural objects, and they have various sub-branches: physical sciences, biological sciences, pharmaceutical sciences, and medical sciences, and the likes. We can't bring all the examples to class. So that's about natural science. So what they do is, the natural science has to do with natural objects. And when you talk about natural objects also have sub-branches. These are the sub-branches listed on your screen, which I just listed. So the other branch, the other group of science is social sciences, that is social in nature. It pertains to society. It pertains to humans. It pertains to society. It pertains to social institutions. So you have geography, social philosophy, sociology. Those are social sciences. What makes them social sciences is because they pertain to social institutions that we have, and also they pertain to society, humans in the society, or issues that pertain to society. Another instance under your units 1 and 2 of module 1, which is what we are discussing, is science and non-science. What do we mean by science? And what do we mean by non-science? Can anybody share with us what you read on the chat? Because I know you have read it. What is science and what is non-science? I'm not going to clean any screen, no. Colleagues should stop writing on the screen. Share with me in the chat science and non-science. Science is not dogmatic, fantastic. Yes, that's right. Science, non-science is arts and metaphysics, yes. Religion, non-science. Sheya Luko, yes. Science has to do with observation. Science is a body of knowledge, yes. Yes, yes, you are correct. Yes, non-science is subjective, is unverifiable, is unfactual. Science is not religion. Religion is not science. Good. Is objective. So you have supplied it. Thank you very much, all you that contributed. So it tells me that you are reading your work just as I asked you to. So scientific method. When we talk about scientific method, you know, at the beginning I said we listed the procedures in scientific method. So here now we're going to look at each of these procedures that we've listed, starting from hypothesis, observation, and up to conclusion and all that. So when we talk about scientific method, what we're talking about is that it is a series of steps that enable scientists to approach objective truth as closely as possible. Scientific method is a series of steps, several steps. You know, if you remember, we've listed it earlier on the screen. Series of steps which help scientists to be as close to truth as possible and in an objective manner. That is, it is not subjective. It is not dependent on individual feelings and opinions, but it is objective. Anybody who repeats that same step will get the same result, so to speak. Okay. So this is the step again: observation, definition of problem, formulation of hypothesis, experimentation, conclusion, and formulation of theory. So each of these steps, we're going to look at them now. Observation. Observation is, just as you know, some of you have observed that people are writing on the screen. And somebody had told me in the chat that I should clean it. I'm not going to clean it. Colleagues should learn not to write on the screen. I've said it several times. So that is observation. You have seen lines on the screen. There is green, there are red, there is yellow, there is blue. Abi? It's a process of noticing. And so observation can be classified into two. You know, remember we're talking about observation as a step in scientific method. So it can be classified into two: spontaneous observation and induced observation. Another name for spontaneous observation is passive observation. Another name for induced observation is active observation, okay? Which are deliberately. So when you talk about spontaneous or passive, observations which are unexpected, you were not looking, it just happens to come to your notice. It's different from induced or active, when you are actively looking for something. You're actually actively observing if something is going to happen, okay? So that's the difference. Passive or spontaneous observation are observations which are unexpected. They come into your face, so to speak, and so you saw it. It's different from maybe you've planned the previous day to wear a particular cloth. Maybe you're trying to do color match to match or blocking, and you're actively looking for this particular shirt that is blue. That is induced or active observation. So in the course of looking for that, you saw one shirt that your auntie gave you long ago. That's spontaneous or passive. You were not looking for it. It's unexpected. I don't know if you get the distinction. Okay. So that's about observation, being the first in the scientific method steps in scientific method. So the next one is problem of definition. Problem definition, rather. That's definition of problem definition, or definition of problem. So this is how we define the problem, or we describe or state what the problem is. So in this step, we ask questions about what we have observed. In definition of problem or problem definition, what we do is we ask questions about what we've observed. For example, if you have observed that there are not many students online for this class, we have 299 students, and there are more than 14,000 students registered for this course. Okay, so for example, if you have observed that there are not many students online for this class, or that if vegetation is green outside, maybe it's not so withered, small rain has started to fall. It's not raining season yet, true, okay? So you go out, maybe you see your flowers are green, you have your grass green. You could ask the question why, or any other suitable question. So you could ask the question, why is it that there are not many students in this class? Why is it that we have 300 students present now, and we have more than 14,000 students registered for the course? Or why is it that the vegetation is not so green? Okay, so in definition of problem, you ask questions about what you have observed. Don't forget, what we are discussing is steps in scientific method, and this is the second step. The third one is you formulate hypotheses. And you may want to ask, what is hypothesis? Hypothesis has to do with guessing. Guessing. Who is having a little peace and quiet? Eh? Where are they making noise? Okay, chats. Yes, they are distracting me a little. I'm just trying to ignore it. Listen, stop chatting. Eh? When I finish speaking and we get to question and answer, you could put in whatever thing you want to send. At the moment, listen. Listen and look at your slides. It helps. There is a reason why there is PowerPoint. You see, when you listen and you see, it helps your understanding better. Okay, so hypotheses has to do with guessing. It pertains to guessing. One guesses what the answer to the question might be. You know, in problem definition, we said you ask question about what you've observed. So here, you try to guess the answer. You try to assume the answer. You try to come up with possible answer. So one guesses what the answer to the question we had asked in problem definition might be. And so scientists, they call this assumed answer hypothesis. Hypothesis. So the next one, fourth one, is experimentation. So here, we're talking about the fact that answers without evidence are really unsupported opinions. You could guess, you could try to come up with an answer, but if you just leave it there like you've guessed the answer, is an opinion. Nothing supports it. You don't have evidence or proof for the guess you've made. And that's what's brought about the need for experimentation. So answers without evidence are really unsupported opinions. So experimentation can provide the necessary evidence, the necessary proof to test run that which you guess, whether it's right or wrong. You do that through experimentation. So anyone who experiments after guessing at answers becomes truly scientific in her approach. So after you've guessed, you not try to test run your guess. Am I right or am I wrong? So when you do that through experimentation, we are saying that you are becoming truly scientific. That's what we mean by that third bullet. Anyone who experiments after guessing at answers becomes truly scientific in her approach, because you're not stopping at guesswork alone. You're trying to find evidence or proof to your guess, whether your guess is right or not. And so the way to do it in a scientific method, which is what we are discussing, is through experimentation. So the next one is conclusion. And so this is the answer you arrive at after the result of the experiment is out. Conclusion, having experimented, there must be a result. So a conclusion has to do with certitude, certainty, certain. This is my guess, was it certain? Now I can be certain of what the answer is. You have moved beyond the level of hypothesis, of guessing. You have done experiments to confirm your guesswork. Now this is conclusion. And so it comes with some certainty. At this conclusion, you're able to know whether your guess was right or not through experiment. So it is more concrete. So the next one is formulation of theory. For discussion, formulation of theory. So here, scientific theory is an explanation about a cause or causes of a broad range of phenomena. So, and revise Are we together? Can you hear me? Tell me in the chat box if you can hear. Please tell me, eh? Okay, you can hear. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So we're almost done. So theories, they are easily revised, and a new theory can easily replace an earlier one. That's why it's not cast in stone. It is easily revisable. Nonetheless, old theories do not become incorrect, but they rather become obsolete. So when a new theory comes and displaces an existing one, that which had been displaced does not become incorrect, but it becomes old because now it has a younger brother or sister. And so this is where, at this slide, we have finished discussion on Unit 1 and Unit 2 of your Module 1. All right, so what the level we are now is for me to take your reactions, your questions, your contributions, which I know you have because you have read, okay? So the format it will take is you will raise your electronic hand and I will call you, just as we did initially, all right? So your comments, your question, your additions, what I missed out, okay? Because just as you know, this is facilitation, it's not teaching proper. So I'm supposed to guide you, and this is part of the guiding. So you could also bring up things you think we have not said, or we could amplify and we'll say more, all right? So I'll start with the first. Joy Amarachi, unmute yourself. Please make it brief so that we can take as many people as possible. Joy Amarachi, you have the floor, unmute yourself. And when you're done speaking, please lower your hand and mute yourself back. Joy Amarachi. She's not here. So I'll call, it will be good you name your device. You see the way I'm calling people by their name? If you are Samsung, SM, I'm not going to call you. If your device is not named, I won't call you. So name your device. So I'm not calling this Samsung. You are not unmuting. Abiola Zainab. Abiola Zainab, you have the floor. Pauline Princess, you have the floor. Unmute yourself and speak. Paulina Princess. Okay, you're welcome.
Hello, good day, everyone.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Okay, so just like the definition of science stated that science, one, could be a body of knowledge or a method of acquiring knowledge or studying and understanding the world of nature or an institution, right? Okay, so I wanted you to speak more on like formal science, because from my own, what I read and I jotted down is formal science has to do with the concept, rules, and theories that expresses them in a quantitative and statistics manner. So I just want to be sure that I'm correct. So when you say statistics, it has to do with things like mathematics and according to, because that's what I'm trying to be sure that what I read is, has to, that I'm correct, right? It has to do with like physical theories and geometrics and algebras and all of that. Then you now have to say that empirical science has to do with, that's where the observation comes in, right? What you can feel, smell. So a case study, so like the human body or a cow or a goat is like a case study now. So it has to do with what you can feel and smell and you can touch, right? You made the example of telescope and all of that. So am I on the right?
You are in line, yes. You are correct. You are in line.
Okay.
Is that okay? Thank you, Amarachi. Paulina. Thank you.
Yes.
So please mute yourself, lower your hand. Joseph Michael. You have the floor. Joseph Michael. Unmute yourself and speak.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I'm sorry, let me just go straight to the point by introducing myself. I'm Joseph. This is my first time of being here. I'm trying to know how to join online and get to know my colleagues and get to attend the classes, but unfailingly, it wasn't so. And so I thank God today that I'm able to do that. But please, I'm sorry to speak that way. I did not follow when the class was starting. So I don't really have what to say because I'm just joining the class. I'm just unable to do it before, but now I'm able to do it. I didn't get you when we were starting the class. Sorry.
Thank you, Joseph, for coming. This is actually the first class. Facilitation takes 8 weeks. So this is the first week you have not missed. So you struggled with joining and eventually you joined and we are interacting. So probably you understand it now. So subsequently, I will send message. I sent message to you via Elen. Try and find that Elen, Muju, and your email. So this class will be holding every Friday, 3 to 4 for the next 8 weeks. So whatever you've missed, for those who are in distance education can feel very isolated. If there is a WhatsApp platform, send to my email.
Network. I'm not hearing again.
On I will call the next person. Queen Dada, please unmute yourself. Queen Dada, you have the floor.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Please, you were talking about branches of science, and you talked about formal science, empirical science, and then you talked about the natural and social science. Now, when I was reading, it was a bit difficult for me to understand. So if I'm asked how many branches of science do we have, can I actually say 4 or 2?
How many branches of science?
How many branches of science do we have? Is it 4 or 2?
I would say, well, if you say 4, you are not wrong. If you say 2, I'm not sure you are wrong still. Okay, because they are, even the branches are categorized. You see, we didn't mix formal and social science together. Do you get? We also didn't mix empirical and natural science together. So it depends on how it's been asked. Do you get? So in an option, if you have an option, maybe a TMA shouldn't have 2 and 4 together because it can be confusing, okay? But based on how they have been categorized, you have the formal, you have the empirical, you have the natural, you have the and the social science. So if you say 4, you are not wrong. But I think saying science can be categorized into 2 broad branches would be good. I don't know if you get it.
Yeah. Yes.
All right. Thank you. So I'll go to the next person. Please mute yourself, lower your hand so that we'll know those whom we've not called. Joseph, I've called you. Lower your hand. Anita, unmute yourself and speak. Anita. Can Anita unmute herself and speak?
Good evening, Ma.
Good evening.
Okay. Ma, sorry, just a very simple question.
That's fine.
when you were explaining, I couldn't get one particular part. But I was trying to take notes. But that is just
Joseph, please mute yourself. Anita, I can hear you. Keep going.
You are stating some steps, and you made us understand that the first one is observation. So that second one, when you explain that asking questions, like you gave an instance that why are we not so, if for instance we don't have enough members in this class, we could ask why we don't have enough members in the class, or why we have some drawings on the screen. So that particular step, I forgot the what you called it.
Okay, that's definition of problem. Okay, it's in your course material. Is definition, problem definition, or definition of problem. Is that all, Anita?
Yes, that's just it, ma. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. Okay, so please mute yourself so that we all can have good experience. Lower your hand. I'll call Israel Obo. Unmute yourself. Israel Obo, you have the floor. Can you unmute yourself? Israel Obo?
Okay, yes, Mark. Good yes, Mike. I've unmuted myself. Good afternoon,
I can hear you. Good afternoon. How are you?
Okay. I'm fine, Mark. Thank you for giving me the chance. Okay. My question is because although I started when I logged in when you were about to start, but my network was not allowing me to follow up. So I kind of got mixed up. So what I want to say now, people were talking about email, receiving of email, but I didn't get any email from you, ma.
So
I don't know
did you get?
why it's like that.
What notice did you get?
Ma?
Which one did you get?
I didn't get any notice.
So how did you
any notice, ma?
How do you know
this
about
one
it?
the thing is this link, there is one of these my study center group that I'm in. So that is where they posted this one. But normally they say that I will be receiving an email.
Okay, sorry about that. Do you have the Moodle app?
Yes, I have it.
So have you activated it? Try and get that done. Also, check your eLearn platform. eLearn. Information is usually there for you to learn, for you to know, familiarize with. And if you don't have an email address, check with your study center, the ICT. Let them check for you what the problem is. Because just as I said at the beginning of the class, 3 ways I pass information across to you: on eLearn platform, on Moodle, and on via email. So at least one of that should work. So just as I've said, if you know WhatsApp platform that has students, you can add me or you send me the link so that I can publicize it. I can also send you the slides. If you have missed anything in this class, I will send you the slides. The link will be on your eLearn for you to check and watch at a later time. Israel, I should have helped you, right? I've addressed
Okay, I will appreciate that.
I've addressed your question.
Yes, ma. Yes, ma.
All right. So it's good you belong to a forum. See, he belongs to a forum through which he learns about the course. So don't study in isolation. If you see a forum to join, please join so that you will be abreast of what is going on. Thank you very much, Israel. So
all right.
I'll call the next person. Please mute yourself. I will call Yusuf Tukur. Please unmute yourself. Tukur Yunusa Tukur. Can you unmute yourself? Is Yunusa Tukur with us? Abiola Zainab, is she with us? Abiola Zainab. Precious, unmute yourself and speak. Is Precious with us? Good afternoon.
Yes. My question is like this. You talk about theory formulation.
I can hear you.
I said you talk about theory formulation.
About what?
Theory formulation.
Okay.
Yes, and you define theory as theories are open to tests. Right?
Yes, and revision.
Yes. So I want to know that after so much experimentation and after so much conclusion, do we still need to test what we've experimented and what we've concluded on?
Yes, because you have conclusion. Remember we said with theory, they are not cast in stone. And the theory one has come up with, that's not the last theory that would ever be. Some other persons will come up with another one. So that's why it's not cast in stone. It can be revised. It's usually tentative till another superior one, a superior one comes. And that's why we say that when a newer one comes and displaces the old one, it doesn't render the old one to be incorrect, but the old one merely becomes old. It merely becomes obsolete. Yes. So having gone through experimentation and you've concluded and you've gotten to the level of theory, you know, I understand that we've gone through some rigor to arrive at theory. So the idea is that even as we've arrived at it, it's not an end. It only works insofar that a newer theory has not come up. Do you understand, Precious?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. So, Precious, mute yourself, lower your hand. Whom should I call now? Olamilekan Amole. Unmute yourself and speak.
Yeah, good afternoon, ma.
Good afternoon. Speak up.
Can you hear me now, ma?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, sorry, ma. You talk about we been creating a WhatsApp group, and we should add you to it.
Okay.
I think now we're going to be like because we have so many WhatsApp group already. So I don't know if you.
I'm not saying you should create. If you have a WhatsApp group for GST 105, post the link. Okay.
Yes, ma, I understand you, ma. But now we have different WhatsApp groups, so we cannot be adding you to like 10 different WhatsApp groups. You understand that? So me, I don't know. Yeah, so I don't know if you can create the WhatsApp group and forward the link to us on the mobile app, on the emailing portal, so that we can join from there, so that we know that okay, this is the only one that comes from you. So everybody will just concentrate on that. I don't know whether you understand what I'm saying, ma.
Okay. Do you know, is there no GST 105 WhatsApp group?
No, man. We just have different general WhatsApp group for business admin students.
No, it won't be for particular course, so it will be GST, those offering GST. Anyway, I know in times past have been added to GST 105. Somebody just added me actually, GST 105. Okay, somebody just added me. I will use the link, copy the link and put it on eLearn so that people can join. That settles it, okay? That settles it, right? Okay, he has muted himself already. Thank you. So I will call, it's past 4. This class is 3 to 4 only. So let me look in the chat box. If there are questions for me to answer there, I will do that. I won't be able to add all these numbers. Are you with me? No, I won't. That will be work for me. What I would do is, the link they've sent me, they've added me. divided me to a GST 105 group. This link, I'll copy it and put it on eLearn, the 105 History and Philosophy of Science page. So you all go there, click on it and join. I hope that will be fine. Tell me yes, it's fine. I'll forward the link to you on eLearn and you will click and just join. Okay. So there are no questions in the chat box. There are no questions in the chat box for me to answer. So we've come to the end of this class. I can't take all the hands that are up, right? My email, you can also send me, people have been sending me messages on eLearn, like I should add them to eLearn. I've been doing that. But if you need to email me, I'm typing my email in the box, holojede@noun.edu.ng. That's email. You can send me a message on eLearn as well, eLearn platform. So what I normally do at the end of the class is I will unmute everybody. It becomes chaotic as you exit the class, all right? So what we are discussing next week will be units 3 and 4 of your module 1 still. Okay, but I'm going to send it to you as a message as well. So you either you see it on eLearn, on your email and your module app. All right, so I'm going to unmute everyone now.
You don't unmute us.
You can unmute yourself. So unmute yourself. And as you exit the class.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, ma'am. Bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Next week.
Mama, I have a question, please.
Have a nice one.
Mama, I have a question.
We are much grateful. Much grateful. Thank you very much for the lectures. Thank you very much.
Phoenix Oscar.
I have a question.
I was locked out 3 times.
Yeah. I want to ask you
Mr. Daniel, what's your question in the
I have a question. Oh.
Can't just answer the question. What's the flash?
No.
I can't bring my son your money. My cash for it.
Have the night. I'm writing it on every.
I want to ask you a
What's your question in the chat?
I want to ask a question. What is
For the lectures. Thank you very much for explaining everything to us.
I'm
wishing you
Okay.
Some of us are not able to pray.
Jagaba.
We bamboo. I'm going to look at
No, doctor. No, I do not know the meaning of that. Okay. I see.
Transfer account, Momo. It's a 4,000. Nah, cash one gonna go 3,500. At 3,500 times.
Trying to do business.
Oh, Miss Chance, over here, more Give me bank. Give me Thank me on network.
Hello everyone. I don't know if the lecture is over. If you can
That is 10,500. Unless they me, I'm waiting for her. Sugar,
Businessman, well done.
I would get the dog to make it an amount of come to. Again.
The lecture is over. This one,
everybody's making noise now in this class.
yeah. It's free.
You can't listen attentively, right?
Who are still in the class?
Free periods now.
Everybody should stop making noise.
Who are the everybody?
Yeah.
No.